the aliens. So, aliens have landed at I Govern East and at I Govern West. We had a scenario where this alien culture known as the Netheks came down to Earth asking, or I don't, was it asking or demanding? I don't know, a place to stay and if they could inhabit our Earth. Now, they called like three ambassadors out to originally meet them, and the ambassadors, from what was reported, had absolutely no idea what they were witnessing right there. And I believe it was the Russian ambassador. He tried to speak up, and they just ignored him. And he kept on talking and kept on talking, and they just kept ignoring him. And it wasn't till uh, a female spoke up that they actually responded to what they had to say. So then they discovered that not all only are the aliens scary looking, they're actually sexist and run by women. So
Misandrist.
yeah, and so um, the initial response from the summit was a bit rash, to say the least.
Yeah.
Um, Considering they wanted to nuke the moon.
Oh,
Not You see, and that's I don't understand. Why nuke the moon if they're up in a spaceship above the Earth? What good would
that,
that do?
that sounds dangerous to me. So, detonating a nuclear bomb on the moon, one of the most powerful kinds of bombs. I've heard theories that the moon could be hollow. Um, so that just sounds dangerous. What would the effects be on our the tidal system?
Maybe global warming would actually happen, and people who support it wouldn't look like morons.
That
The evidence is overwhelming. The Earth's temperature is increasing.
that would be amusing. See, we were
It's
right, not because of our science, just because of outside events that happen later.
just because we nuke them. We brought global warming upon us. It had to
Yeah, it
happen.
is man-made.
So, the alien thing kind of lasted throughout the week, and it, I, there is one. I think they made an agreement with Russia, or tried to, that they could have labs to experiment on human beings.
Ooh,
Russia apparently wanted to push for that, while all the other countries kind of voted against that, which is understandable.
even China and Venezuela?
I think so, yeah. And so,
Oh.
um, now National Oreo Day. Did you hear about that? Well,
I did. I have vague memories of it.
I think if I recall, it was supported by the Gold Party,
Mm.
and they were trying to get a National Oreo and Bacon Day. I don't know if it ever got very far. It didn't seem like it, but it was a big movement in the Gold Party, and it was brought up during presidential debate, not debates, but press conferences, and it didn't seem like any of the candidates, any of the three, uh, got anywhere with that, or even knew what to do with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um,
Would
yeah.
you do you support the idea of a National Oreo Day?
I don't think so. I'm a vegan, and not because I think it's immoral to eat animals, just because I think it's not so healthy. So I wouldn't be crazy about a National Oreo Day, but maybe a National Tofu Oreo Day. That would be cool. And
Now,
I like birds. National Oriole Day would be cool.
National Oreo Day.
Yeah.
But what if that gets confused with the baseball team? And I don't think many people like the Orioles.
Well, iGovern was in Virginia, right next to Maryland, so there might have been some people. I don't know.
I don't even think the Orioles have fans.
That wouldn't surprise me if they didn't.
So, did I'm pretty sure everyone who was at East heard about the fallout between the senators and the ambassadors. Did you, by any chance, uh, get wind of that?
Not really. I thought I might have detected a little tension between them, but I didn't really know what of any specific problem. I was in the house.
Uh,
I
so,
don't know. What was that about?
uh, well, this was on the first day, and I'm pretty sure it was in the first hour of uh, committee meetings. The Foreign Relations Committee decided they wanted to, or were advised by one or two campers to bring in the ambassadors and tell them that they need to have the treaty done by Wednesday or they'd all impeach them or whatever, something like that.
Hmm.
And it was because one ambassador said that I govern West, they wrote something in that would give the ambassadors and make them the rulers of the world or something. And
Oh.
so they thought that the ambassadors at East would do that. And so they bring in the ambassadors and they just lecture them and like yell at them and then interrogate them and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ambassadors walk back into the summit room and they tell the ones who didn't go what happened. And they got really mad really quickly. And so they sent the most feared ambassador, known as
China.
China. Yeah.
China. Yep.
Yeah, they sent China into the committee room, and China reamed the uh, committee for around 10 minutes. At
I'm
least that's
sorry.
what was reported. And so afterwards, Joel just was lecturing the committee all well, not really lecturing them, just telling them to be aware that they completely changed the appearance of the United States foreign policy in less than 10 minutes and made it around 15 countries really, really angry with them.
Wow.
And
Not all
so,
20 countries?
oh, there were 20. Oh, I bad math. I
Oh, I
didn't
thought
really
maybe
count
there were
them.
a few that didn't mind.
But yeah. Anyway, so uh, in the debate, what did you think of Gold Party comparing illegal aliens to flies?
Hmm.
Or
That's
well, in,
harsh. That's harsh. I
also,
did not say that. I'm not on
botanic,
record saying that.
botanically speaking, um, Venus flytrap isn't really a flower, is it?
No, I don't think it is. I could look it up now, which makes that simultaneously the best and worst answer to that question. It was clever, but it was also untrue. Yep.
And you called uh, illegals flies. I'm not considering that in the country where the illegal aliens make up around 5% of the vote because our voting system right now is so messed up, that's a percentage you can't afford to lose.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you think they'd have been voting for Gold Party anyway?
Uh, well, let's be stereotypical. Okay,
All right.
so
I can be stereotypical.
yeah, so illegals are generally some form of Hispanics. Hispanics eat tacos. Taco shells are gold. They would
Huh.
vote gold.
They're more of a dull yellow, I'd say.
It can be called gold.
I guess.
Not to
Yeah.
mention, Mexico had or there the city of gold in like either the Mayan country or Aztec.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I would
All right.
say that illegal immigrants are a voting bloc I would not want to alienate.
Oh. All right. Now we get to one of the last segments of the program. We have the noteworthy bills. First, we have the lifeguard shave kit bill. What are your
Ooh.
initial thoughts on that?
I thought that it was an unconstitutional monstrosity. I don't think there was a bill that I opposed more fiercely than I opposed the lifeguard shaving bill. Uh,
What was your initial reaction when you heard it read aloud in the House?
I was thinking, this is funny. It's also unconstitutional. And I can't vote for anything funny if it's not constitutional.
This-
It
Oh,
was all. It also seemed a little rude going up to people and forcibly shaving them. That's a major affront, especially if they belong to some group, religious group that's opposed to any sort of shaving. That
like,
could make them angry, and it's
well,
not even something that's worth it.
there's a big giant flaw in the logic behind this.
There's a
Lucas
what?
Mason has a beard, alright?
Ooh.
So, would you go up to Lucas Mason as a. What lifeguard would want to go up and shave Lucas Mason at a beach? I would just have serious problems with that.
uh, I don't know. I don't think that's a law that would be easy to enforce. That I don't know who would be willing to enforce that one.
I can just imagine. In the news today, lifeguard killed while trying to shave 250-pound bodybuilder.
Yeah, I can imagine that too. That would
It,
be sad.
yeah. Next up, we have the Oompa Loompa Bill. This bill was introduced to the Senate, and it's pretty straightforward. It's a bill to offer asylum and free the Oompa Loompas from the tyrannical Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Did, did that bill ever make it to the House?
Yes, it did. I remember it being debated on in the House, and I think it passed there, though not with my support. See, here's the thing. If the Oompa Loompas are being held in involuntary servitude, that would be prohibited by the 13th Amendment. You don't do we really need a bill to free them, or couldn't we just go and break
Well,
into the
is the
factory?
chocolate factory in United States territory?
Well, if it's not, then who are we to go in and take out the Oompa Loompas, take them away, I mean. Um, but I don't, I'm not sure. Does it even say where Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is set?
No, but I think if we put it in some communist country, judging by our history in the Cold War, that would justify, at least in the minds of many Americans, the actions of going in and removing the Oompa Loompas from the chocolate factory.
Yeah. Well, see, the fact that they didn't even specify that or the course of action weakens the bill at its foundation. But I also think if you ever saw the Tim Burton film, that certainly didn't portray the Oompa Loompas' employment as being involuntary. I think that it was something they were grateful for and stayed in because they liked it. They were paid cocoa beans.
Alright, next bill we have Nick Barton Galaxy Bill. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because if, in our comment section of bills to talk, like, what do the fans want us to talk about, we had the Nick Barton Galaxy Bill. And uh, it was suggested by Nick Barton, meaning he has an ego the size of a mountain and is shamelessly self promoting himself.
No, no, no,
And
no. He has an ego the size of a galaxy.
okay, he has an ego the size of a galaxy.
I don't know. I take that back. But
Okay, but
had to
anyway,
make
did you ever see this bill, like, at any point in time?
I can't remember if it made it to the house. I think it might have, but I don't think I was ever acquainted with the specifics of the bill. That was one thing I didn't always get to learn everything about bills that were introduced in the house. Kind of, you have to pass it to find out what's in it. But
Did you just quote Nancy Pelosi?
no comment. The Nick, but this galaxy bill sounds interesting and has far-reaching implications. I mean, light years far,
Yeah.
very far.
The bill would give the second nearest galaxy to us to Nick Barton, and it would become United States territory, and Barton would be labeled something like the emperor or chief philosopher of the entire galaxy. And inside this galaxy, Glenn would be given the second largest planet for it to be his world.
I see.
So I think it was like a bipartisan thing. I think it didn't go anywhere with the Senate. In fact, I think it was brought up twice, and both times it was shot down and wasn't even read out loud.
Wow.
So
What?
what?
Well, I had some questions. Did you say the galaxy next to ours?
The next galaxy over. So you have our galaxy, and
And
then Andromeda,
yeah.
and then the next. It would be the one after Andromeda.
Oh, I'm not sure what that one is.
Neither am I. It just has some weird name.
Yeah.
Uh, so we have the Order 66 bill. It would repeal Order 66 and offer asylum to any and all surviving Jedis. This was passed in the Senate at iGovern Pacific. What are your thoughts on this bill?
Well, I don't know. At first, I would think the Order 66 was a pretty evil order. But then again, I have a friend named Karsten Toplikar who has this theory that Emperor Palpatine might have actually been acting in the interest of the galaxy. I'm not sure I should explain it though because you'd label it a conspiracy theory. Could be a kernel of truth to it.
Oh, yeah, no truth is allowed on this segment. Only conspiracies based outside of reality.
So you have to either tell the truth and the whole truth or nothing like the truth.
Yes, that is our motto. Tell the exact truth or make something up and exaggerate it beyond normal storytelling.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And the last bill we have to talk about, National Nerd Bill. As a nerd, I endorsed this bill. Let me give you an idea of what it would be. The National Nerd Bill creates a national holiday, the first of which would take place on March 14th, 2015. Celebrations would include video gaming, pie eating marathons of fandom movies such as Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and Narnia, marathon of fandom shows such as Sherlock, Doctor Who, Downtown Abbey. I'm going to pause and say I do not support the Downtown Abbey part. Um, and Psych. And last but not least, large Jello carving contests throughout the country. So, do you support this?
Well, before I say that, I think you may be forgetting one bill in particular that we might want to discuss about one of those fandoms. I'm not going to say it in specific, but it's the one Molly Cluck murdered in cold blood.
Oh, the
But
Narnia bill.
but before we get to that, I would like to say about this National Nerd Bill, I like the idea, but it seems like it covers such a vast array of topics that a single day wouldn't be enough for it. And that's why I'd like to bring up one of the proposals I've made as a character I play on my political satire video series, a retired psychologist named Sigmund Freud. He has a 365 national holidays initiative, which would make a bunch of national holidays, one for every day of the year except Leap Day. So, you've heard of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but we could also have Elvis Presley Day, or Billy Bob Thornton Day, or Anonymous Day, or Day Day. I know Ryan would like Day Day.
Could we have a
But
joke in the life of GenJ Day?
absolutely. There's 365 empty slots, or most of them are
All
empty.
right, right
Yeah,
here, right now. I, the moderator of a joke in the life of Gen J, nameless and completely anonymous, other than the sound of my voice to all you listeners, support this 365-day national holiday.
thank you very much, anonymous moderator.
You're welcome. Anyways, so so you're proposing instead of just one day, we have a whole year to celebrate fandoms.
Absolutely. And
Would
then
this
another
over
year after that.
would this override other days such as National Pie Day, National Flag Day, Christmas, all that stuff?
No, I would say that you can incorporate those, but it would also add other holidays for the empty days. And, we could have multiple holidays at once.
So,
Like, we could have Leif Erikson Day and several other Viking holidays.
so you're suggesting a holiday inside a holiday, so it would
Yeah,
be like holiception.
yes, exactly. Exactly.
All
Very
right.
good. Yeah, I heard
So,
you like holidays, so I put a holiday during your holiday so you can celebrate a holiday while you're celebrating a holiday.
all right. Last and not least, the Narnia bill.
I
What
am the
is your
Narnia Bill.
what is your opinion on that?
As the author of that bill, I wholeheartedly endorse it. That bill is like a child to me, and I am bereaved of my progeny, and I will never forgive Molly.
So, can you walk us through like the process of it being heard in the committee or whatever happened when it was struck down?
Okay, well, I'm only telling you from eyewitness accounts of the murder. Um, what I wasn't in the committee that slew it, but basically it came up in the committee and it was read, and I think Molly Cluck vehemently protested it and had it shot down in committee. So, and I didn't even find out until dinner that night, which was the night of the gala. And I was heartbroken. And I walked into the gala and I felt dizzy. I didn't know what to believe anymore.
Like you lost someone close to you?
Like, like I lost my own heart.
All right. Uh,
I don't know. I'm not alright. Maybe you should just end the broadcast now. Uh,
it's okay, Zachary.
alright, I'm okay. Maybe. Alright, I
Um,
should go to
um,
funeral service.
uh, here. So, after effects of iGovern, uh, we have one in particular wave of things that uh, is kind of sweeping the GenJ nation, and it would behoove us to not mention this, or I'm not
Uh,
sure if I used behoove right, but that's beside the point. It's Hack 5. Um, so, the Hack 5 originally appeared at iGovern East. They joined the stage on Friday night, and they completely traumatized everyone in the audience and somehow gave them such a bad case of PTSD that almost everyone who saw that performance turned into a fanboy or fangirl. And they did this at all three iGoverns, and now they have quite a big following. I think it's like around 200 people, I guess, in total. And if you can see some of these fan letters, you just get so creeped out by some of them. Like, one one particular lady asked Ferguson for a ring, maybe, uh, or and one told Jeremiah that she can smell him or something. I don't know,
that
but
is really weird.
yeah. So I don't know if they regret this or if they I just don't know. And
That I witnessed it. I wouldn't call it traumatizing so much as trauma musing. You know,
oh,
I did not with that word,
the
but
hack 5 word trauma musing.
yeah,
So
I think that's Molly Cluck's word.
uh, this was an after camp away from not even in person thing, but we have Glenn's World and the Jilla Insurgency. Have you heard anything about these two things?
Yeah, I've become acquainted with it just recently. They're all. I think the Glenn's World and Jill's Insurgency are both kind of monarchies that are being tried to set up. Jill's Insurgency, she's in her capacity as an alien, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. And
So,
she has minions.
uh, despicable meme minions. However, they are operated as they are humans through
Right?
Facebook accounts.
I see. That's clever kind of subterfuge.
But so this war between Glen, what are known as the Glennies, and the Minions, it's gone on for about maybe 2 weeks, and The war is the oddest sense of a war you'll ever see. They involve journal entries, memes, photoshops, and spam attacks for as a form of fighting.
I
Um,
see.
Now, how would you feel if nations adopted this form of fighting and replaced uh, actual violence with this? Do you think wars would be settled in better ways?
I think wars would become more amusing immediately, but the problem with that is that you might get most people to agree to it, but there's always going to be somebody who's going to resort to violence. So we can't completely replace our military with a meme military or meme. I always pronounce that wrong.
What if we created a meme division?
That would be good. That would be pretty cool.
Their job would be to make disgusting, well, not disgusting, but just like creepy photoshops of their adversaries, like putting Saddam Hussein's head on the head of Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. Um,
Oh, that would be funny.
so we've reached the end of our iGovern review, and I would actually like to take a moment to do 6 questions with Dr. Fraud. Dr. Fraud being our guest that we're welcoming on right now, who also doubles as Zachary Zupan. So, welcome, Dr. Fraud.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So,
Glad to be here.
I have 6 very quick questions for you, if you don't mind answering them.
No, I'd be happy to.
Okay, Dr. Fraud, what is your opinion on tax fraud?
Well, I oppose it. I don't want to be taxed.
But you
Don't
do.
tax fraud.
So, so what? So, uh, what if? I mean, like the actual term tax fraud, not taxing
Oh,
you.
like cheating on your taxes.
Yes,
Hmm. I don't know. It's kind of hard to get away with.
but considering you're the doctor of fraud, don't you think
So
you could?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of tax fraud, and if I was, I wouldn't publicly announce it on a radio broadcast, you
That's
know?
true. Um, okay, if you could pick one dictator to say you're the most similar to, who would it be?
Ooh. Well, there was this one dictator, I think he was, what, Argentinian or Chilean, and he was called the Pineapple, maybe that's what his name meant. I like pineapples, so I guess I'd compare myself to him. I can't remember his name, though. I don't know. I wouldn't want to compare myself to a dictator so much. That's not good for elections, comparing yourself to a dictator.
Okay. So, did you really invent the internet?
No comment. That question is so 1999.
But you said that correlation does not equal causation, but then
Yes.
something like that. And then you ended up with somehow you invented the internet.
Yeah, well, if I could give you the full quotation there in a moment. It went a little farther, and I think that once I read you the full quotation, you'll agree with me. So basically, in 1103, Li Ji published Ying Zhao Fashi, a technical treatise on Chinese architecture during the reign of Emperor Huizong of Song. In 1385, Charles II the Small became king of Hungary. In 1561, Spanish poet Luis de Góngora y Argote was born in Cordoba, Spain. In 2012, Dr. Sigmund Freud, PhD, that's me, is running for president of the United States. Correlation does not equal causation, therefore no correlation equals causation. Vote for Fraud, inventor of Chinese architecture and the internet. Are you convinced?
Okay, yeah, you're the master behind the Chinese blueprint, and you're making all this possible. So thank you for inventing the internet.
You're welcome.
Okay,
No, it was
if
my pleasure. Don't believe Al Gore. He claims to have invented it, but it's me.
are you running? Are you planning to run again in 2016?
I haven't made plans for that yet. I might be running for re-election, but right now I
Wait,
haven't.
re-election?
Yes, re-election.
So
What you buy that news from back in November? Oh, come on. That mainstream media coverage was completely biased.
So you're
Fraud-
saying you're secretly running this country.
No, no, I wouldn't say that. I have so far been cheated out of the administration that the American people assigned me to. They, this election is far from over. There are there are Indian tribes in crevasses down over in Idaho, Utah, Montana, other swing states like that, as well as, Colorado, which doesn't have that many voters. They haven't even had their votes counted yet. I think once they have their votes counted, once a lot of other people who didn't get to vote have their votes counted, you're going to realize that I was actually elected back then. But for now, Obama's operating as a de facto kind of president before that becomes publicly known.
All right. So, if elected, how much money would you pay me, and in which currency?
Well, why should I pay you money? What would you be doing in return? Campaigning, making posters?
I'd be just sitting here being fabulous.
Mm, I don't know. Not,
Surely that's
I,
worth something.
I I might pay you a little money, but it would have to be in Uzbekistani currency, which I believe can't be converted into other kinds of money for some reason.
It's
You
kind
know.
of rough. Thought we were really friends
Yeah,
enough.
it's actually pretty cool. Who do they have on their money? Let me look that up. I don't know. I'm sorry, but if I might be willing to pay more if you could provide some actual services like campaigning or toppling regimes.
What if I promised to bring s'mores to the White House?
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I could pay you
okay.
some, but I'd still have to pay you Uzbekistani soms.
Oh, all right. Last and final question. What would be the punishment for opposing your Narnia bill? That's an evil laugh.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
This has been a good interview.
well, you didn't even answer the question.
You don't want me to.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Dr. Fraud, and thank you for joining Zachary Zupan. It was a pleasure having this show. As for you listeners, I don't know if this is going to be something on a weekly basis. Well, probably semi-weekly basis or not. But you can, if you haven't liked us already on Facebook, you can go to A Joke in the Life of GenJ and like us there. Um, Please check out Zachary Zupan's video for the iGovern comedy and the sequel. I'll add that to the description or the comment section of when I upload this. Anyways, it's been a pleasure, and for A Joke in the Life of Gen J, this is the moderator signing off.